Good morning. It's the last day of June 19. Oh, sorry. That's a very old song. Last day of June 1934. It is the last day of June, but it's not 1934. It's 2021 still, all year. And I'm in Hillsdale, actually very far south. Did not expect to find road work right here. So I started in the parking lot of the strip mall right here, which is right across from the university, and thought I'd walk in this neighborhood. Today, I'm actually headed out to the Wascana Country Club again. I'll walk on this sidewalk to start things off because there's a bunch of oil on the next corner. So these are a lot of apartment buildings, very popular with students because they're right across the street from the university. I would have been out earlier, but power went out just as I was leaving the house, and then I had to take my wife to her office because the power was also out where she was working, and that all added time. So a little later than I intended to be. So I'll walk and then I'll head out to the Wascana Country Club to write this morning. So just going to wander in the neighborhood. Not one I've particularly walked very much in before. And again, if my German viewer who is interested in apartments catches it, here's some more apartments. Very close to the university, all of these. Quite a big complex. Lots and lots of them. Of various eras and the design. Don't quite know what's going on with everybody blocking the road there, but anyway, not my problem. I'll be editing some more stories for Shapers of Worlds, Volume 2. I did 2 yesterday. See, these apartments go on quite a ways. Back over there as well. Over here. I need to do, my goal is to edit 2 a day, which will get me through all of them in a couple of weeks. And when they come back, I'll be able to assemble the finished book, assuming I write the story that I'm writing for it, which I haven't done yet. And if you're just joining me, Shapers of Worlds Volume 2 is the second anthology that I've kickstarted, featuring guests of my Aurora award-winning podcast, The World Shapers, where I interview other science fiction and fantasy authors about their creative process. I kickstarted Volume 1 last year. It's available now, Shapers of Worlds, look it up. And it was successful, so I kickstarted Volume 2 this year, featuring second-year guests of my podcast. Big names: Garth Nix, Kelly Armstrong, Marie Brennan, Brian Thomas Schmidt. Funny, I always say that and then the names go out of my head, but big names, top men and women working on it. It's a terrible corner. So let's get away from here. Way too much traffic. Now this will eventually take me down to an area where I did walk, because I came down and started on Grant Road one day, which is down this way. If you're out there on Facebook or YouTube, say hi. Temperature is quite pleasant right now, 20, 21 degrees. They've got a heat warning on. It's going to 32, and as I said before, that wouldn't constitute a heat warning in places that are actually hot, like Texas. I mean, I'm not denigrating the heat, because further west, out in BC, they've had record-breaking temperatures for, 80 years, more than 80 years, the record for the hottest day in Canada was held jointly by Yellowgrass and Mydale, Saskatchewan, back in 1937. They both hit 114 degrees Fahrenheit. But that's been shattered. It was 49.5 Celsius yesterday in interior British Columbia, which is like 120 almost, or oh no, it's over 120 Fahrenheit. So that record, that kind of heat, that definitely deserves a heat warning. I think the hottest we're supposed to get up to is about 35. Okay, we'll start our zigging here if I can safely get across Hillsdale without being run over. It's a big, broad boulevard with a divider with trees on it down the middle. The other thing I'm doing, of course, is revising the Tangled Stars. I'm about 50 pages in on that, of almost 500, so I've got a ways to go yet. And the heavy rewriting will be in the later portion. Hi, Kirk, from Vancouver. I'm zigzagging. Won't go any further than Grant Road in this direction, I think, is my plan today. To the south, I mean. I think this is called Hillsdale. The street back there is called Hillsdale. And there is a Hillsdale neighborhood, so I presume that's this. Can't vouch for it entirely. Hopefully by the time I've been out to the club and everything, the power will be back on, back home. Especially with it going to be a warm day. I want that air conditioning to come back on at some point. Oh, it's amazing how slippery a little bit of mud on the sidewalk can be. Slipperier than ice. We zig to the left. All looks vaguely familiar, but then all the neighborhoods look vaguely familiar. There's much walking as I've done through them. This is 120 or something since I started doing this back in March. Getting close to 120. It's a lot of hours of walking in a lot of parts of, especially the southern end of Regina. Not so much in the north because that's really out of my way. Maybe on the weekend I'll drive up there and walk in an entirely new area for once. Parker Avenue. All right, let's take a walk down Parker. See where that takes us. Oh, I know where this takes us. That'll be Campbell Collegiate up ahead. For sure. Yeah, know where we are now. I just didn't know it was called Parker. I've driven along it many times, but I never knew what the name of it was. I think that's where we're coming out. Yeah, the elementary school on the left, and then the high school will be up and to the right. Hi, Miriam. In India. That's an elementary school over there. Don't know which one. Don't remember off the top of my head. Campbell Collegiate, which will be up here on the right when we get to the end of the street, is I think the biggest high school. Most students of any high school in Regina. I think it's got about 2,000 students. We'll cross over here because it's a crosswalk and there's nobody coming anyway. That's Campbell starting to show up over there. This is a church here. Bethany Gospel Chapel. I feel like I've been in there. No, I was in one that's sort of similar to it. I've never been in that one. And there's a Campbell Collegiate over there. Of course, school is over. Teachers probably still hanging around doing, teacher things at the end of the school year. There's Bethany Gospel Chapel there. So you can see, it's a school that goes on for a ways. It's quite large. And there's another wing then that you can't see on the other side of the auditorium's gym there. I think this is a Catholic church, if I remember right. I have been in here. I think we borrowed something from them for Regina Lyric Musical Theater. I don't remember what. École Massey School. It's Massey School, that's what that is. And it says école, that probably means it's a French immersion school. Yeah, I've definitely been in here. I don't think I was in the auditorium. Been in the basement. There's Massey School. Oh, it's not Catholic, it's Anglican. Oh, that shows you what I know. All Saints Anglican Church. How many All Saints Anglican churches are there? It's a very popular name for an Anglican church. There's the entrance. Having a peach sale. There's more of it there. I might go down the alley. Oh, nope, it's blocked off. I guess I won't. If I were going the other way, I could go down. No, I couldn't. It go into the church, the schoolyard. Okay, that would just go into the parking lot anyway. But we will go right here at this next street. Say they need to do some mowing. Oop. Kind of an uneven sidewalk, which is always a hazard when I'm carrying this thing. This is Balfour Drive. This is a bay, so I won't go down there because that'll be a dead end. Just go down there and go around and come back, I'm sure, if it's really a bay. I see these signs a lot. Campbell Collegiate. This is another bay, Bobolink Bay. So I will also not go down it. Bobolink Bay. And another Campbell grad lives here. Tomorrow's Canada Day. We're going out to the club for a barbecue that they're putting on, the West Canada Country Club, where I'm headed up to right today. My wife is a member. I married into it. It's a golf club. We rarely golf. And when we do, we're not very good at it. Which is probably because we rarely golf. My clubs are ancient. I have like one new club that I bought a few years ago, maybe two if you count the putter. But they're actually remade, rehandled women's clubs that I got from the mother of a friend of mine. They must be 40 years old. Perhaps if I had better clubs, I would enjoy golfing more. I don't know. That would really make a difference or not. I enjoy being on the golf course. I hate the fact I'm no good at it. You can see Albert Street over there. The buildings of Albert Street. So they've been moving steadily east all this time, as well as south. Squirrel. There's always squirrels. They're like geese. They're everywhere. There he is. There he goes. There's a very dangerous step there with the heaved up. Heaved up piece of pavement that would be easy to trip on. But I did not. I used to work at a golf course one summer when I was 17 or 18. Best thing about it was that if it rained, I didn't have to go to work. So I was always hoping it would rain. I was young enough that I got measles. I missed a week of work because I got measles. Don't know where I got them from. Somebody at the golf course, probably. I hadn't been anywhere else or around anybody else. Didn't much like that summer's work. Mostly manual labor, raking and mowing and raking with a little bit of shoveling for variety. But it was better than the summer I worked at the Weyburn Inland Grain Terminal, that was the first summer I wore a mask because of the dust. It's 9 stories. One of the jobs was to keep the dust down, so you were constantly sweeping dust grain dust. Because, of course, grain dust is explosive, or can be, so you really want to keep it down. The only thing I enjoyed was loading grain cars, because it was, it's just set in this booth, and you pressed a button that would advance the next car in line, because they were all hooked up to a cable. And you had this spout you controlled with a joystick. You'd stick the spout in the top of the hopper car, open it up, the grain would come rushing out. It would fill up the spout once it reached the top of the car, and then you just ease the car forward, and the grain would just fill up the car bit by bit. It took about 10 minutes to put 80 tons of grain in a hopper car. I think it was 80 tons. And you sat there in comfort for the whole time. Now, what I didn't enjoy on the grain car side was what's called coopering boxcars. Boxcars, of course, have big doors in the side, and the only way to keep the grain from coming out is to put a barrier across that door. I don't know why it's called coopering. Guy who invented it, I guess. Guess we're going this way. They're steel, heavy cardboard reinforced with steel bands. That's what these things are. And then you can put the grain in through the opening that's left at the top of that barrier. And when the grain car gets out to the coast to be loaded onto ships, they have a machine that literally turns them upside down, pours the grain out. But that coopering was a manual process, with a guy like me inside the boxcar hammering this stuff into place. And of course, a boxcar is one huge piece of metal that's been baking in the sun and has no ventilation. So that was no fun at all. Getting close to South Albert over here. So it'll be about time to start zigging and zagging back the way I came. Already started going north, apparently. Is this an alley? Can I go down this alley? It is an alley. Where does it go? Oh, it ends in a fence, I think. Yeah, at the A&W over here. So that's Albert Street ahead of us. Main drag, north-south. Let's see, we'll go down the little access road here. That used to be a keg. Something else now. So all of a sudden we're out of the residential area and right onto Albert Street. Gas stations and restaurants, fast food restaurants, and a few other types of stores. Car wash. Keep an eye out behind me for cars. And I'll go back east again as soon as I get a road through in that direction. This is the backside of all these things. Although, if you're getting a car wash, that's where you go in. I'd have to go a ways before I can get back through. That just takes you behind these houses here. But at least it's an area I haven't walked in before. This is a Holiday Inn Express on my right, the hotel coming up. And I don't remember from the back, I can't remember what these things are. Still can't get through. So we'll carry on past the hotel here. Hotel entrance. Holiday Inn Express, of course, is a very basic, inexpensive place to get a room. There's some way through up here. I think we're behind the Burger King next. Yeah, it's the Burger King, a Burger King, there's more than one. It's the way through now. Yes, so we will head back. It's just apartment buildings going on down this way. We'll now start working our way back west toward the car. Back into the residential area. And directly into the sun, so hard to see if anybody says anything. So here's the front side of those apartment buildings. I think some of them are condos actually now. My niece had a condo along here somewhere at one point. It was an apartment building that had been converted to condos. I think we'll have to go all the way down to 25th, I guess that is. Because these are crescents and bays on the other side, but I don't think we'll go through where I want them to go. They're probably just dumping me back out here again. Yeah, this one says for sale, so it must be condos in there. I don't remember which one my niece was in. Male person. Well, it's a female person. It's a female male person. Again, that's just one block off of Albert here. It is, of course, roadwork season. Seems like I run into it everywhere. If I'd taken the Crescent, I think I would have just come back around here. Well, I won't keep zigzagging because this is taking me way north without any zagging. So, once we get past this noisy equipment, somewhere along here was her condo. Oh well. They're fairly nice buildings. So that's just a little roundabout or a place, a dead end, if I went down there. Get on the sidewalk on the other side of this vehicle. It's a shame I can't go down there. That'd be a nice walk, but it's all blocked off and they're doing stuff. Some nice flowers. Must be recycling day around here. All the blue bins are out front. All right, so that's Albert Street again over there. We're going this way, back towards the car, which is close to the, just across the street from the university in a strip mall there. Now what are they doing? Aside from apparently blocking the sidewalk. So I think the car is more or less straight ahead of us from here, but you can't go straight. I have to either go left or right when I get up to the main intersection up there. There's another place. Well, I'd like to get over to the other side just because there are so many things going on this side. So that's just a place again. I wouldn't go down there. It's funny, this piece of road is longer than I think of it when I'm in a car. I guess that's not too surprising. It's kind of a cute little house. I like the porch. I like porches that you can actually sit on out front. Always makes me think of the South and my kinfolk down there. Bell Street. Okay, we can certainly go down this one. Actually going too far north, I think, and we'll have to work our way back south again to get to where the car is, but we'll get there. It's always the challenge of walking in a neighborhood you don't walk in very often. Yeah, and a fairly well-established one. Houses are probably 50s, 60s, probably 60s. Could be 50s. Now, oh, this is McPherson Avenue. Okay, we'll take that. I knew somebody that lived on McPherson. I know where this goes. And yes, I am a little further north than I need to be, so I won't go north anymore. Let's see if I can spot his house. Colin Brewer, who used to host the afternoon edition for CBC Saskatchewan, lived along here somewhere. I was in his house a few times. I think it's that one. I'm trying to remember which side the driveway was on. It got sprinkled a little bit. For 17 years, I was the weekly science columnist for the afternoon edition that he hosted for most of that time. Yeah, I guess he hosted it for all that time. Then they decided 17 years was long enough, and I did a few more freelance things, and then they basically stopped using so many freelancers, and anyway, my time was done. For about 20 years, I was a regular guest on the CBC's afternoon edition. Collins was one of these. Maybe that one? Just can't be sure anymore. That looks about right. He lives in Victoria now. I don't think there's any point in going to the right. I don't think you'd get a street through to where I need to go. So we'll go straight on up to Hillsdale. Turn right, a couple of blocks, and we'll be back at the car. It's a kind of odd intersection. McPherson doesn't go through. It's either go right along Massey Road, or you have to do this little kink to stay on McPherson. There's a stop sign. Let's stay on this side. It's because there's a nice walkway to get there. Now cross further down. Another one of our long, straight sidewalks. How long have I been out? Oh, not even that long. 37. All the way to Albert Street. Feels like it should be further than that. Clearly it's not. Probably be less than an hour when I get back to the car. I thought it might be over today. This is the shadier side. The other side's shady too. This one's nice and shady. Again, it's not that hot right now. It's probably 22 or 23 by now. Going to 35, no, 32 today, I think. As we start to get the extreme heat, or what's left of it, that's been to the west of us, finds its way to us. I think it goes up to 35 for our hottest day, last I saw. We've already had a couple of days that hot. And then cools off back into the 20s next week, and there's some rain in the forecast too, last time I looked. Although long-range forecasts are like flipping a coin. Anything that's more than 3 days in the future can evaporate the next time you look at it. There's a very funny sketch on This Hour is 22 Minutes from a few years ago, where Canadians locked in an unending cold snap, but at the end of the 2-week forecast, there's a above freezing day. Everybody's living for that, and they cut to the guy at the Environment Canada who says, actually, we have no idea what's happening that far in the future. We just put that in there to give you hope. And I have seen cold snaps where that warm day disappears or gets pushed day by day further in the future, for sure. So everybody related to that. If you look over there, you'll see Roberts Plaza sticking up, and of course I've walked by that many times. So again, all these walks are starting to overlap down here on the south end of town. But there's always a new route. I mean, yesterday all I did was walk in one small area, and I filled up the hour just walking up one street for 3 blocks, going over 1 block and coming down the next street for 3 blocks. So there's, probably thousands of kilometers of sidewalks in the city as a whole. So this light up here is where we will turn right. Directly ahead of us will be, what's the church called? I don't know, but I've been in there many times because Regina Philharmonic Chorus used to rehearse there. I don't know if they still do or not. And I was a member of that for many years. Especially back when my dad was still alive and he would come up from Weyburn and we would be able to sing together, as opposed to having him conduct because he was a music teacher and chorus conductor. So I sang with him conducting me, both in choir and in church, where he was the song leader. And then I got to sing with him in Regina Philharmonic Chorus for a few years. He used to come up with 4 or 5 people from Weyburn every week, weather permitting. And the Philharmonic Chorus does big numbers, like big classical pieces, Messiah, requiems, that sort of thing. All right, well, we will cross here. That's the church there. I don't know if that's part of it or not. It seemed to be on the same plot, so it probably is. It's the fellowship hall or something. Well, could have gone the other way, but it doesn't really matter once I'm on the other side. Now, this is Hillsdale, which I've walked along up further up. I think I got down just about this far once. Up to Roberts Plaza up there. Last week when I had my dentist appointment, it was up that way. Wesley United Church, that's what it is. As in John Wesley, not Wesley Crusher from Star Trek The Next Generation. Yeah, the other place, the All Saints Anglican was having a peach sale. Wesley United is having a blueberry sale. Got to order by July 5th, so get on that. We'll go down Latta Streets here, because just down the next street, Kramer Boulevard. Oh, will I go this way or does it curve where I don't want to go? I thought it would go through and I could go on down, but it doesn't. Okay, we'll stay on here then. This is a stop sign, so we will take advantage of it to cross to the other side. Just about 3 blocks this way, and there's the car. So now we're back by the apartment buildings I started by. And the university is straight ahead across the street. Of course, I just walked around there on, is that Saturday or Sunday? Maybe that was Sunday. It's the last time I walked around the university. Walks around the university always get more views. I suspect it's from prospective students. Sure. Many students live in some of these apartments, although these look more like condos here on the front side. And there's a rich smell of fresh tar because they're working on the road up here. I can't see a thing on the screen, so if you say anything, I won't see it. I'm parked in the parking lot not far from McDonald's. I haven't eaten anything from McDonald's in years. We almost never took Alice to a McDonald's. Just not our go-to fast food place by any means. We didn't eat much fast food. We usually do better than that. Or we order pizza, which I suppose is, you know, it's somewhat healthier. It's got all those vegetables and stuff on it, depending on what you order. Or if we're ordering in, it's also likely to be something like Thai food or Indian food. There's a really good Indian restaurant we like called Caraway. There's several, but we think that's the best. And we've heard from people from India who say it's the most authentic in Regina. There's a few ethnic restaurants like that, if you want to call it that. There's an Ethiopian restaurant, haven't been to that recently. I think it's still, well, it was still there before the pandemic anyway. What we really miss is a good Mexican restaurant. There's been a couple of attempts, but there's where the smell of oil is coming from. Okay, and my car's coming up here, so I'll just stop it right here. So thanks for walking with me. A little shorter than I thought it would be, and I'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now.